It is time for a nostalgic blast of fear from the past. Gather around, everyone. It's time for a Scaredy chat. That kind of rhymes.
Welcome to Scaredy Chat. My name is Kaitlin Riley.
And I'm Monica Suryagi, and we're here to talk about the scary things that we saw as kids and how they stay with us and affect us well into adulthood. Like, the whole point of this is that the things that scare you when you're a kid are not leaving your brain. And we're here to talk all about it and work through some stuff with our friends.
So my grandpa is probably one of the most creative, hilarious people that I know. And I don't think he listens to podcasts, so I'm not doing this for his benefit, I swear. But if you are listening, Poppy, you know that I love you. So when my mom was a kid, my grandpa loved to prank people, but would prank people in absolutely scary ways. So one of the things that he did, and I've heard this story a million times throughout my childhood, was when my mom and my aunt were little, they were told, I think my grandpa, I guess, told them that if you say the Lord's Prayer backwards in a mirror, you can summon a demon. And I'm not sure why they thought this was a good idea, but I feel yeah, it seems right. I mean, let's not try it. But basically, so my mom and my aunt and her cousins they stand in front of this mirror in the house in front of a closet. So the mirror is against the closet. So they're saying the Lord's Prayer backwards, blah, blah, blah. And then once they get to the end, the closet door opens and it's my grandpa jumps out and terrifies them and they're screaming. So that is just one of the pranks that he did when my mom was a kid. But I feel he's made me really want to be able to prank someone in that epic of a way. I hate when pranks happen to me, but I've always kind of secretly wanted to be able to scare someone that badly in a completely fun and not aggressive way. Just oh, it's not really a mongoose. That's what I've always wanted.
All right, everybody. I'm so excited about our guest today. We have the winner of Boulay Brothers Dragula Season 2, creator of the digital drag show on Twitch, the bitch of Twitch, if you will, my friend, the fabulous Biqtch Pudding.
Hi, it's me. Hello. Hi. How'd your earbuds? Hello.
Yeah. So
What's good?
Yeah, what's good? Welcome to Scaredy Chat. Thank you so much for appearing here.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It's definitely up my alley, spook.
Why don't you introduce yourself? What are you doing? What have you been up to in this pandemic?
So in the panorama that we've been in, our whole industry, for those who don't know, I'm a drag queen and we are drag artists, perform in nightclubs and bars. Sure, we get video gigs and stuff like that, but mostly it's more of a physical art form. And when the panorama hit, we weren't able to perform in those bases. So literally out of frustration and seeing regardless if you won RuPaul's Drag Race or if you were Susie Q who hosts Bingo down the street, every one of my friends that I saw and colleagues I saw on my social media as soon as the pandemic hit, I saw them post their Venmo's, Cash App, and PayPal's. And they were like, I'm without work for the foreseeable future. I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, yo, we can still do what we want. And drag artists and the most crafty people, I think, in the whole universe. And I literally out of frustration was cussing out my roommate, what are we gonna do now? Digital drag? And then she was like, that sounds like a great idea. So then we casted the whole show, announced it on Monday. Within Tuesday, we were in Paper Mag, Rolling Stone wanted to write an article, Wall Street Journal featured it. It kind of exploded overnight, and we didn't know how to technically do it. We figured it out on Wednesday night how to do that. And then we had a whole smorgasbord of people perform live, 30 entertainers for the first show live around the world. So that was kind of gaggy. Since then, we've gone to more pre-recorded and live content. And we were weekly for about, I think, 20 shows. And then that got to be a little bit much because I realized it was going to be a marathon instead of a sprint this pandemic. So now we are now down to once a month. But I stream a lot on Twitch. I play fighting games. I'm a huge nerd. And if you guys haven't checked out Boulay Brothers Dragula, you can check it out on Netflix to see me kick some butt. If you don't know what Dragula is, it's if you took drag mixed with Fear Factor, your favorite B horror movie, and, just a bunch of camp. And instead of lip syncing for our lives, we have to fight for our lives in extermination challenges. So, like, shoot paintball guns at each other, fight each other in a Thunderdome, eat weird shit, get pierced by needles. It's kind of fucking crazy. And it's super fun if you guys want to check that out.
So later on in this episode, we have a couple of questions for you, chill or chilling. So chill means, you're all good with doing something, and chilling means too scary, you can't. And I feel like
I don't think I tried to make it a little harder than usual because I know you've done literally every gross thing that can be done. So I tried to, but I still don't think I pushed it far enough. So I think it's all going to be too easy for you.
I'm ready for it.
I read the list because Monica made the list, and I was like, I would do none of these things.
And I was like, I think Biqtch would do all of them without us.
It's like a Sunday morning for me,
So we'll see when we get there. But before that, please tell us about what scared you when you were a kid. I'm dying to know about your childhood fears that still stay with you.
So I was a military brat. I grew up living on predominantly military bases up until I was about 12, maybe 11. So military bases, which is kind of like this little, there's its own grocery store. It has its own, it's called the Naval Exchange, but it's like a little, almost like a Macy's. And then there's barbershop. Like, you don't really have to leave the base unless you're going out to eat or something. Like, it kind of is its own encompassing thing. And and it has its own pools, recreational systems. The neighborhoods are great. I can run around and play with kids with swords and go to people's houses. And that's kind of how I discovered video games. My uncle introduced them to me. That's how I played Tekken, but I got introduced to a game at a friend's house. We went from one house playing Pokemon Stadium to going this other house where this older kid, older brother of a sister, was playing this spooky game, and we were hearing about it on the playground. We're like, so what's this shit? And it was Resident Evil. And although looking back on it, there's a lot of camp in it, the Jill sandwich whole meme that's online. But for me, the slowly opening the door, the eerie music, the zombie, the pixelated zombie was terrifying. And it was honestly super spooky. For me, horror and stuff that scares me is more in the audio than it is an actual physical representation. Or hearing something is more terrifying because my mind is really creative. So I'll just go. I can make that zombie look real as fuck if I can believe it through sound, if that makes sense. So that scared me a lot. Another thing that terrified me is a little bit more. It's a hard subject to talk about. Because it's not something that, I come from a very privileged background. I'm a white cis male. I identify as non-binary, but I come from a very privileged background in the sense that my parents are in the military. We were in middle class. And by the time I was 12, we were able to afford we got a house outside of the base. So this is the first time we've lived outside of the naval bases. And I moved around every year. We would constantly be in a different base every year. So finally we were able to get a house. And we were living in this pretty nice neighborhood. I went to a really nice school. And my mom would always rent blockbuster movies and stuff. And one time she rented this one called Hardball. I haven't watched it recently, and I should probably for reference. But it's a movie basically about inner city kids that play baseball. And there's this scene in the movie where one of the kids is shot through gang violence. And to me, I was never exposed to that prior to that. And I think I had a whole culture shock about this other facet of the world that I wasn't aware of. And I had Black friends, there's Black, people that serve in the military. There's people of color that I knew. It's not I didn't know racism exists or anything, but I just had no idea that was a thing. And it terrified me. I could not believe that something a kid would die senseless to a gunshot. Really scared the living shit out of me, more so than the zombie did I saw in the video game. And I literally could not sleep for 2 days straight. I just had this huge mind. I was like, what have I been sheltered? It's kind of it's so weird to explain because it's of course I was realizing privilege and realizing how people are born into different sex, which I kind of got, I guess, but not to that extreme. And it was really shocking for me, and it terrified me because I just was like, what? I was like, how? I didn't understand, and it was senseless violence, and I didn't get it. And it was from a movie about kids playing baseball. Like it's something completely weird. And to me, I find the most scary things to be real. Like not something that's like I can go through haunted houses and not even fucking flinch. Like I won Dragula. Like that doesn't scare me. What's actually is terrifying is something that's like more rooted in reality. And that for sure scared the living shit out of me.
That kind of makes sense because like, yeah, you have a career that's really built on a lack of fear of fear.
Yeah.
Like fear itself. Like you do some pretty spooky things and you also do like glam and like fab, but you also do like horror. And I think to be able to create, because we do horror stuff too, and more on the behind the scenes side, but you kind of have to be able to embrace those parts of horror that can't really happen, like monsters and zombies, whatever. But it's the real stuff that's like actually really scary.
And you touched on something that I think is interesting because, for a while when we were growing up, there was a big emphasis put on how video games would like desensitize kids, quote unquote.
Mortal Kombat, speaking of the movies out right now. Yeah, like Mortal Kombat was a big cursor to that. Yeah, for sure.
And I think that, there's been studies that have kind of disproved that just because you play violent video games doesn't mean that violence in real life won't affect you. And I feel like this is almost like a perfect case study of that.
Yeah.
That even though that wasn't real life, it was, obviously a little bit more realistic than like a Resident Evil. And I think it's just interesting how I think we can kind of process stuff through horror and process stuff through fiction. But then once it kind of feels like it hits closer to home or hits closer to just the real world, then it's a different story.
Yeah.
Then it's actually very scary because it could happen.
It's real. Like, it's not just like, oh, dragons exist. No, I know dragons don't exist. I know this demon might not be real. I might get haunted by something, but like that tangibleness in reality, like definitely really was a shock to me. And it really like woke me the fuck up. And it definitely affected me for the rest of my life to kind of go that for a mile to make sure that if I had a friend to make sure they felt comfortable or like try to be quote unquote woke, but that's not even like an appropriate saying. Like, I don't know. I am a white person. I shouldn't be like talking about this as like, it's sad. Of like that terrified me, but it just was a huge revelation for me to realize like that was a facet of life. And I just was not exposed to it because of how I was like in the environment I was born in.
And also though, like, fear of death from senseless gun violence is totally valid in this country.
Right. Oh, totally. Right now, more people are getting shot every damn day, but then we're like worried about some other shit.
But okay, I do also want to talk about Resident Evil though, because that's iconic. That has scared millions and millions of people. What was the scariest part of the game for you?
I think it was like each moment, the anticipation, because what they did, because loading took forever. So what they did disguise the loading screens, instead of just being like a static image, it would just be like a door slowly opening. And the door would change depending on which part of the game you're in. And you're like, I don't know what's behind that door. Sometimes it's like a 3-headed Cerberus, or sometimes it's just like, an item like a green herb. So you smoke that ganja and just get through the game. Or like, sometimes it's like a horde of zombies. Sometimes it's a cutscene with like a random guy with poor voice acting. You just didn't know it was like coming next. And it was the anticipation with like just those sound effects really got me. But another video game that terrified me was this is my favorite game of all time, Metal Gear Solid.
What is it called?
Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1. It stars like basically you have to go in and destroy this like mech that can shoot nukes. That's like the whole thing. And you're like an espionage and it's like a whole spy movie, but there's like certain bosses through the game. And the bosses are like sickening. Like there's this woman named Sniper Wolf who just sits there and just like aims at you. And she's like, I don't know if she's Russian or she's Afghanistan, but she's like fucking sickening and I love her. And then there's like another boss named Vulcan who like has a huge machine gun. I think his name is Raven. Anyway, he's sickening. He's like, snakes don't belong in Alaska, and your code name is Snake. But there's this one boss in there that is named Psycho Mantis. And he has like BDSM stuff. Like, honey, he's queer. And I was like, oh. I don't know what's going on here, but I know I'm a part of this family.
Was he the bad guy?
Yeah, he was a bad guy. And he had like the gays are always evil. Look at any Disney movie. We're always like evil trying to kill the ingenue. But this villain, Psycho Mantis, he had, you had a controller. This is back when we didn't have wireless controllers, but it was like plugged into your system. And he could read your mind because he has telepathy. That was like his power. So in order to defeat him, you had to unplug the controller and then like plug it into the other side so you couldn't read your mind. And like, it just like, like the way this game was designed, like showed me that gaming was an art form. Yeah. And that it could like really immerse you in that 4D perspective where it like involves you. Like he would like vibrate your controller when you were talking with him just to fuck with you. He's like, I'm gonna just like brainwash your head. Like he was insane and sickening and queer, and I loved him. And he was like terrifying, but at the same time I'm like, yes. And I guess like that's how I kind of approach fear, because we're always portrayed as those villains. Like, you know, him and Powerpuff Girls, he's like, yes. Girls. He sticks his boot up out of the fucking bathtub and is just feeling it. Like my brother was terrified. I just was like, oh, what's going on? Like,
this is for me.
I am here for this. Like, yeah. I am here. So with like horror and stuff, I always kind of felt oddly safe. Especially in that kind of realm. In the villains, I always wanted to be the villain because they always had better outfits and powers. Like they were just always more, I thought, interesting than like Superman. Superman's boring. Like he's invulnerable to like one thing. I'm like,
so boring.
I can't relate. I like Batman because he has like grit to him, and like, you know, like Batman's villains are even more sickening, and they're all like kind of crazy and queer themselves, you know, like it's dope. But with Resident Evil, going back to it, yeah, like that game terrified me. And I also had a kind of sister game that kind of came out together, but Resident Evil ended up becoming a franchise, but it was called Dino Crisis.
Whoa, I've never heard of it.
Same kind of game, same kind of thing, but instead of like zombies, they were like fucking T-Rexes and shit.
Wait, like it was literally dinosaurs.
Yeah, but they were like like horror monsters, dinosaurs. So it's kind of like Jurassic Park, but not really. But like it would just like, you know, you'd go into the facility and then all of a sudden there's like this crazy bloodthirsty T-Rex trying to shoot you or eat you, and you have to shoot it.
I was gonna say it's like it had a gun.
I think in the third one where they tried to bring it back on the GameCube, they had like rocket launchers on them. So like they mixed it up then, and then the franchise never been heard from again. But it was the same kind of sound. It was the same kind of vibe. And the game design kind of played to the horror because back then, like they couldn't, like shit wasn't just smooth. Like it was just rigged and stuff. So like you trying to move your gun and walk was just like you moving slow in a horror movie because you're like, I'm running. Like you couldn't really.
And you're like, why can't I go any faster?
Yeah.
So that frustration added a layer to it. And then just that whole immersiveness really was terrifying.
So do you feel like Resident Evil shaped how you see like zombies?
I'm not scared of them at all, if that makes sense. Like,
I feel like zombies are
28 weeks later, definitely. When I didn't watch it when it came out. I think if I did, it would have like seeped into me. But when I watched it later, I was like in life, I was like, oh yeah, like zombies are fucking, that's terrifying. You know, like that's crazy.
I think for me, like zombies in terms of like, are they scary to me if they were coming after me? No, but becoming one is the scarier part.
Really? I'm so flipped on that. I'm like, really? Yeah, it's like the thought of trying to get away from them is very scary.
Right. It was pretty fucking terrifying. Yeah, snakes are another fear I kind of have. Final Destination.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I watched. That's one of my favorite.
That's my favorite Final Destination.
It has the best death. The tanning bed death is the best death in a movie. It really is.
And they're both like banging on the and then just smash cuts to their coffins. That is filmmaking. That is art.
That's iconic. Also made by a queer person. The writer of it was queer.
Oh, hell yeah.
Who's the writer of 3? It's not... I think Jeffrey Reddick created the series, but I don't remember who the third writer is. But recently, my parents and I were coming back from lunch in Venice where I had like 6 margaritas. And it was actually probably 2, but I am a lightweight now. And the song Roller Coaster of Love, which is what they play in Final Destination 3, came on in the car. And so I, like fairly drunk, started just explaining the plot of Final Destination 3 to my parents. And I was like, no, oh my God, this song.
It's Ryan Merriman.
Oh my God, yes. Luck of the Irish. He's only.
I crushed on him and the guy that also played into Million Dollar Cook-Off.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was that guy.
Cute.
He was really cute.
And then the 13th year.
That's also Ryan. That's a different.
No, that's the
different kid.
blonde.
That's the blonde kid.
That's a gay allegory movie. Watching it back, him and his like his sissy, the nerd friend. I was like,
he had to save
they
him.
gay, baby, they gay, and Xenon, of course. Xenon's like,
Also, yeah.
Exactly. Have you seen that one video of the dad who has the chainsaw massacre outfit on and the kids are all sleeping in the bed because they're terrified and he just activates the chainsaw in the bedroom and the kids like lose their mind and like eat shit getting out of the bed. It's really fucking funny. I think it was on America's Funniest Home Videos.
Oh my God.
But yeah, The Ring scared the living mess about me until I saw the beautiful parody that is Scary Movie 3.
Yeah. I think that movie is absolutely fucking hilarious. I was actually really afraid of it when I first watched it because it was so similar to The Ring, which freaked me out so badly. And the opening is so similar to Scary Movie 3's opening.
Just more focused on the nipples.
I guess
more nipples. More nipples.
That is the first.
That's the only difference. It just shows you that you can find fear in literally anything.
Yeah.
But of all of these fears, which one do you feel like still affects you the most now as an adult?
I think that polarizing moment in Hardball definitely sticks with me to this day. Realizing, my mom always tells me, like, put yourself in someone else's shoes and like, regardless of the situation, how you feel. Like this one time I was really pissed that it was like ring dance or prom or something. They had to pick up the tux and it took forever to pick up the tux. I already got measured. I already got the tux. I just had to pick it up. There was a line and a lot of people waited the last minute to get their stuff. And I got in the car with my mom afterwards and I was just like so bad. I was like, I like ranted for 30 minutes. Like, why did they wait the last minute? Da, da, da. My mom goes quietly, just was listening to me. And she goes, well, maybe their mom just got paid yesterday and now they're able to afford their prom outfit. And that shut me the fuck on up.
You're a wise mother. You're a wise mom.
Headshotted me like across the, I was like, well, damn.
Yeah.
So that kind of, that moment really sticks with me in terms of like, going into the world, especially I did come from that family, but like, I also, when I moved to LA, I lived above Skid Row. Like I've had a really crazy life since then. And I kind of, been queer, been like almost in Atlanta, like living here, like above Skid Row at a huge warehouse space and trying to make it work right after Dragula, not knowing if I was going to win or not. And it was just like, I'm eating tuna salad at the corner store and, Skid Row, bitch, like it's real. Like, I just think that moment, that polarizing moment of realizing that no matter where you are in life, there's something else that can be, fate of the cards could be with anything. And I think that really opened my eyes to that, especially. And then the gun violence aspect of it. Like, I just didn't think like a random gun going off killed a child really stuck with me till this day.
And probably will continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on the news all the time now. I just don't understand the fact that this country, I love America's great.
We're with you.
It's so awesome. Yeah, I can get married. Okay, I could say I can get married. That's not something I never thought I could do in my lifetime. So the fact, this whatever. Hi, this is great. So that's something that scared me, and it still sticks with me to this day.
Yes, and that's the whole point, to hash out your fears and just talk about it with some people that you don't usually talk about your fears with.
We're cheaper than therapy, so we'll just take it in.
We live.
Well, if you're ready, I think we can play Chill or Chilling.
Ooh.
I am ready.
Amazing.
All right, I'll give you our first one. So you just, quick rules again. Chill is like, yeah, I would do that. Chilling is no, I would not do that. Too scary.
Okay.
Pass.
Okay.
All right, first one. Spicy food.
How spicy are we talking?
We're talking like real India. We're in India.
Ooh, I can't handle that chilling. I can't handle spicy shit. I can't. So that's another thing for spicy food for me. I think I can handle it if I'm not like inhaling, and I always inhale food. It's just something I do. So I think that has a lot to do with it too. Does that make sense? I don't know. So chilling. Yeah, I can't handle it.
Chilling. We're a pass on the spicy food for now.
For now, yeah.
For now, I'm trying to get spicier. I'm trying.
Okay. Kaitlin, you want to give us the next one?
Yes. The next one is going without internet for a month. And I know my answer on this. So
Is my bills paid? Because that's how I pay my money right now. On
You don't have
Twitch,
to use yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, actually, that would be so terrible for you.
Yeah.
That's how I make my money.
No, let's say that you don't have to worry about money. It's paid. You're good.
Do I still have access to video games, just not online play?
None that are online. Yeah, you cannot connect to the internet.
I'm fine. I could do a month. I could do a month. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So you're
Absolutely.
chill?
If I'm around friends, if I'm not isolated, yeah, I could do it. I could do it.
All right.
Chill. I could do it. Yeah.
Chill. Cool. I mean, yeah, it's like we're not like throwing you on an island. It's just no internet.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Chill.
All right. Our next one. Being in a Freddy Krueger movie as one of the people he is hunting.
Wait, are you in it? Are you in it or are you an actor?
I want to die in a horror movie. Like it's like goal for me. Like I want Biqtch Pudding or me to die in a horror. Like I would love to be a final girl.
But when this was written though, do we mean that it's
I mean, one, I don't even Biqtch didn't even need the context. She was just like chill.
Yeah, right. It's fine, whatever.
If it's real, I'm fucking up Freddy Krueger. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go. He is terrifying. He is like honestly out of all the killers, other than It, I think he's the most terrifying out of all the classic, like,
yeah, because he's like,
he fucks with your dreams.
Yeah, and like
and he slashes you in your dreams.
Nightmare on Elm Street, Trues, Queer as Hell. Yeah, Freddy's down. DTF. I would. Yeah, let's go. Chill. Let's go.
Hell yeah. And you have one final girl under your belt, which makes the odds of doing it again even higher.
Right.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
Amazing. Oh, getting a snail facial.
What's a snail facial?
It's when they crawl all over your face to like give you good skin.
Wait, why don't they just use the serum?
No, it's fresher if it's real skin.
Is this a real thing, Monica?
It's a real thing.
It's horrible.
It's real.
I'm gonna say no.
It sounds disgusting.
It sounds so gross.
But if I had to do it, like, yeah, I'd chill.
It's good for your skin.
I swallowed mop water for $10,000. So like I think I could handle snails on my face.
Sorry, I just made it very a gagging sound. That is the stuff. Fear factor, I always was like, I could do pretty much all the other
I chose to do it.
Yeah.
Like it was part of my filth challenge on the show. I was a gross janitor.
Nice.
In the finale, you have to represent filth, glamour, and horror in 3 tropes. So for filth, for me, that was like where I resonate in out of all 3. That's like, I'm filthy as fuck. Let's go. So I was a janitor and I kept making the mop water gross. And the mop water was like all real. It was the mop at the venue at the Globe Theater. The mop was like in the bucket. The plunger was the one we used at the communal hotel room. The hair, like I added shower. It was, yeah. I solidified myself alongside, I feel like, in the realm of divine in terms of filthiness.
Did you get sick after?
No.
Wow.
Oh,
it's kind of amazing.
I did have an antibiotic. Like I had like saved antibiotics from like a mouth surgery I had a couple of months before. So I took one of those and I took Airborne like for the next 3 days and I was fine.
So this is our last one. Biting your celebrity crush's toenails. I feel like you're good with this.
I don't like feet.
No, we found it. We found the thing.
I would do it because if that's what they're into and it means I could consensually fornicate with them.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
So,
do you have a celebrity crush in mind when you say that?
Yeah, celebrity crush, and then picture you biting their toenails. And this is like here, let me really explain this. So you're biting their toenails because they're too long and you are trimming them with your teeth.
Oh
my God. I have a utensil to trim them
with. There's no way. There's no alternative.
Do they love me back?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
They like you though.
Okay. And you have to tell us who you're envisioning.
Who's hard because when it comes to like main stage stars, there's not one that sticks out to me. But the 2 that like kind of like my queer awakening was McSteamy.
Okay.
Crazy.
Oh, the guy. Yeah. What's his name? Eric Danes. Yeah. He probably has okay feet.
Yeah.
And Daniel this is like not my ideal, because I could name like, you know, porn stars or like my friends that cosplay. I'm like, oh, this is like, yeah, this is it. But like, this is like talking in like, you know, superstardom, I guess. Daniel Craig.
Okay, I bet he has nice feet too.
No,
Yeah.
I feel like his feet are gross.
You're like, no, he's not.
He's metrosexual as hell as James Bond. I think they're cute.
I think
Maybe.
they're fine. I think their feet are fine.
Well, either way, you have to bite his toenails off.
Yeah, sorry.
If you love them, if it was the love of my life, sure.
And it's Daniel Craig.
I don't know.
I would do it.
Like, what's gonna happen to them if the situation is like?
Are the
No,
toenails
you have to-
clean? Can I take alcohol to the toenail before going in?
I feel like you have to just, it's like you just go for it. Like they're taking their shoe off, they're taking their sock off, and you're
no,
biting it.
chilling. No,
Yeah, no.
no.
Is it?
If it was life or death, if I was threatened and had to film it for something and I would threaten their life, yes, I would. But if it was just like, hey, baby, I got a snack for you. No.
Yeah, we don't have to make choices. Then I feel like I'm with you on that one.
Well, thank you for coming on and talking.
Thanks for having
Cheers
me.
with
It's
us.
so fun.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Your love
Yeah, of
is
course.
spooky, and it's really great to chat with you.
Is there anything that you want to pitch or any where can they find you next?
You can find me across all social media at BIQTCHPUDDIN. That's Biqtch Pudding. The Q is silent, so don't forget the Q. And I stream on Twitch multiple days a week. I play fighting games on there if you guys want to come on and play that. But I also play spooky games like Dead by Daylight or the new Resident Evil 8 that's dropping literally any day now. I think it's like next month it comes out. Anyway, I'm really excited for it. There's like a 9 foot tall woman witch, and the internet just wants her to step on their throat. Like she's obsessed. Like she's an icon. Like she's a meme and she's an icon legend.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah,
Thanks for having me. Do I hit stop recording?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We know you loved this episode and you love that feeling of being scared. So make sure you share this podcast with at least one other person that you want to be scared with. And make sure you go to Apple Podcasts and subscribe and rate and review and share it so everybody you were scared with as a kid can be scared with you now. And make sure you follow us on Instagram at scaredychat_podcast. And hey, if you have a scary story that you want the world to hear, email it to us. Send it to us at story@scaredychatpod.com, and maybe we'll talk about it on the show. Scaredy Chat was developed and hosted by Kaitlin Riley and Monica Moore-Suriagi. Produced by Jeff Swimmer. Editing and sound design by Fitz Harris. Theme music by Eric Fashingbauer with samples by Jeff Zahn and Jack Lenz. And Gail Gilman is the executive producer.